with all the focus on elections in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states. Rotus Oddiri now joins us to review the econometrics of each state.
Good morning, Doctor. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning to everybody out there. Yeah, let's just quickly jump into, I know we're short on time. How are the people doing in each of these states? How well are they doing? So if you take a look at the fiscal ranking, this is from budgets. There are 2023 states of the states. Fiscal ranking looks at your IGR, your debt, your healthcare, education. Kogi State ranks 24th. Imo ranks 29th. Bayelsa is almost dead last in 35th. Ease of doing business, Kogi is almost dead last at 34th position. Imo State 13th, Bayelsa 24th. Your revenue, excluding FAC, Kogi brought in 19 billion in a full fiscal year. Imo brought in 16 billion. Bayelsa brought in 18.3. If you look at their FAC, Federal Accounts Allocation Committee, what they added to their revenue, Kogi was allocated 72.4 billion, Imo 88, and Bayelsa a whopping 327 billion. As you know, Bayelsa is oil producing. And you had Governor Oddiri on the morning show a while back where you asked him about that, and he said, well, you know, we're an oil producing state, you're taking all our resources from us and sharing it amongst the rest of the country. Because if you look at the IGR to FAC percentage, as a total of percentage, as a representation of revenue, Kogi State only gets 21% of its IGR, 21% of its revenue from IGR, 78% from FAC. Imo State is 15% to 84. Bayelsa looks really lopsided, 5% to 94, but then Oddiri would argue with you that, listen, well, it's the oil you're getting from here that you're sharing for FAC for everyone else. So you can see that they're really disproportionate. If we move from there to, I think, debt, this is another, ugly picture. Kogi State, 93 billion domestic debt, foreign debt, $52 million. Your total debt, 117 billion. Debt growth has been small, 4% from 2017 to 2022. Debt service, 14% as a percentage of revenue. But if you were to take just their revenue alone, IGR alone, it cannot cover the debt. Imo State, my goodness, 204 billion naira in domestic debt, foreign debt, 51 billion, your total debt, 227 billion. Look at the growth in, although Hope only came in, wasn't it 2020 or so? But, it's 127% growth for Imo State. Where did all that debt go to? Debt service is 35%. Bayelsa, domestic debt 146 billion, foreign debt 60 million, total debt 175, 20% growth over the years, 5% debt service. So that's on the revenue debt picture. We move from there to, this is very important here because there's a video of Hope Uzodinma before the election talking about how he's going to provide healthcare and jobs for teachers and so on and so. In fact, let's listen to it. Let's listen to what he said.
Let me tell you something. I will create jobs. I will bring Medicare. I will restore our school system. I will make the teaching profession more meaningful. I will get teachers to come and choose to teach as a choice, not because of lack of jobs. We will do all this.
Not to make like we're picking on people in particular, let's look at a video of Governor Oddiri where he was casting his votes. This made a lot of rounds on social media as to the state of the school where he was voting. You can see there's no ceiling in the school, and it's dilapidated. A lot of people, this is a state that gets 327 billion in revenues from FAC, and yet look at the state of the school. So I bring this up as a background to now look at your healthcare spend, healthcare and education for each of the states. Kogi State, again, this is on budget. Female health insurance coverage is just 0.2% for Kogi. For Imo State, it's just 3.1%. For Bayelsa, it's 4.2%. Your health spend as a percentage of your total spending, for Kogi, only 7.98%. Imo, only 3%. Bayelsa, only 3.1%. Health spend per capita, Kogi is only spending 1,900 per person. Imo is only spending 914 naira per person. Bayelsa is spending 3,418. Education, only 16% for Kogi, 7% for Imo, 10%. Per capita spending, 4,000, 1,754, 11,000. Finally, unemployment and inflation. I used the numbers from MBS before they did their revision where we fell to 4%. So using Q4 2020, Kogi State has 38.9% unemployment. Their underemployment, 28.1%. You join them together, almost 7 out of every 10 people in Kogi State is unemployed. Headline CPI, that is your inflation for the most recent numbers, is one of the highest in the country at 32.9%. Food inflation, Kogi leads the country And this is supposed to be part of the breadbasket of Nigeria at 39.37, almost pushing 40% food inflation in Kogi. For Imo State has one of the highest unemployment numbers in Nigeria. I think only Adamawa or one other state is higher than them. 56.6% unemployment, underemployment 29.5%. You join them together and almost 8 out of every 10 people in the labor force in Imo State is either unemployed or unemployed. And we had Hope Uzodinma on video saying he will provide 4,000 jobs for youth in Europe and America. Headline inflation 27%, food inflation 34%, Bayelsa 36.6% unemployment, underemployment 30.2%. You join that together, almost 67%, close to what Kogi is. Headline inflation 29.9%. You can see the food inflation, how high it is for each of the states. That's the picture. That's the economic picture for Kogi. Yeah, Doctor.
To have this picture, it gives us an idea. But I suspect, as is usual, that the affected state governments or even the governors that have been elected, they will challenge the
numbers.
They will question the source, which is the normal thing in Nigeria. Nobody ever accepts.
Except when it's good.
They will say, "Oh, where did you get the figures from?" Look at Imo State, for example, 56.6% unemployment rate. That's on the high side. But the major thing that we can take out of this is one, that there is a lot of work to be done in those states.
Yes.
And it's not as if these states are necessarily worse than some other states. There are states that are even worse than this.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
So it's a problem with the states in Nigeria because these states are not centers of productivity. Look at the percentage of IGR to FAC. All these states, they depend majorly on FAC. And that's why we've been making the point on this program that, look, all of these states are blessed. It's not only oil that they have in the Bayelsa. There are other opportunities in the state. It's for the state governments to look inwards. And for those who are getting a second term in office, not to think that, oh, I've won the second time, I've made the point.
Right.
As Governor Opuzodinma tells us that he has been vindicated. No, the indication here is the need for more work.
Right.
In Bayelsa State, if Oddiri is eventually announced, you should also know that this is an opportunity for more work. Because these states, many of them are not viable. They're just, very unproductive centers. And the governors go about, as if they are there to bear the chieftaincy title rather than provide service and provide leadership. Governor Opuzodinma says, next level of shared prosperity. The people of Imo State would like to see that prosperity.
Exactly.
This is the point.
Exactly.
Rotus, I'm really excited you put out the state of the states. So I'm going to make a couple of radical suggestions. Maybe we should even start by taking off this FAC. Because you see, this FAC does not make the state governors think. They don't have any developmental benchmark. Probably if we take it away, maybe they'll be able to think. Because you see, what they now do is that with this FAC allocation, they benchmark it to go and borrow loans.
Right.
And do bogus projects that are not like airports. Like till today now, one of the airports that was done recently in Ebonyi, how functional is it?
Right.
So these are the questions we should keep asking ourselves. And recently, NAETI put out a report in this day today, talking about the fact that current expenditure are stifling the states.
Oh, it's all high in all the states.
All of the states. So they can't even do capital expenditure.
Right.
And most of them depend on their FAC for most of their spendings. Over 70% are thereabout. So if the states cannot open their eyes and be creative, then nothing will happen. That's why you see
owe salaries.
And they still owe salaries. And that's why you see that states like Niger now is saying that they should be paying them special allocation because they are giving water. Just like the 327 billion that everybody all fought for resource control. I remember we talk about resource control then. I was a journalist working in GFM in Warri then. We will campaign and everything on the radio. The resource control finally came. What are they doing with it? The Niger Delta State, the oil are worse off today, even with the resource control. So it shows that leadership is the problem. And except we do it, look at Miami. I keep talking about Miami. Look at Flagler.
Right.
A man single-handedly started to build rail lines and all of that. At some point, they even asked Flagler if he wanted Miami to be named after him. He said no. But look at the development in this area because a man directly brought. Why can't our governors think out of the box?
Except that if you are saying we should cancel FAC, you have to amend the Constitution.
Right.
Because FAC is a creation of Section 162
of the Constitution.
Probably if we can do that and now restructure and have full autonomy.
Then how do you share distributable
oil revenue?
revenue?
Nigeria.
Thank you.
Thank you.